Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Vinchin Webinar. Okay, so let me get started. My name is Xiao Ao, the Sales Director at Vinchin. Before starting this webinar, I'd like to inform you that Vinchin Backup and Recovery version 6 has been officially released today. Please feel free to visit our website, vinchin.com, to download and try it after this webinar. Okay, the next, let me introduce today's presenter, Product Manager at Vinchin, Mr. Lu Wenzhang. He will introduce what's new in Vinchin version 6. Now I will switch my host to Lu Wen. Lu Wen, please.
Okay, hello everyone. Thank you again for being here for Vinchin Backup and Recovery webinar. My name is Lu Wenzhang, and today I'm going to introduce you about what's new in Vinchin Backup and Recovery version 6. Here's the agenda of today's webinar. First, I will introduce you the Vinchin Backup and Recovery solution and features. Then I will introduce you with some detailed new features, including improvements of backup and recovery efficiencies, new data protection feature, and some other new features not available on version 6. After this, I will demonstrate you with some main features, and then we can have some discussions in case you may have any question upon this new version. Okay, let's begin. First, let's take a quick look at the Vinchin Backup and Recovery solution. Here's a sketch of Vinchin Backup and Recovery solution. As you can see, compared to our previous solution architecture, there are some new elements had been added in this new architecture. For virtual machine backup and recovery, we have added some new virtual platform support. And beneath virtual machine backup and recovery, as you can see that we have added file level backup and recovery for both Windows and Linux physical servers. In the middle of this diagram, there are Vinchin backup and recovery products, including backup server, backup node, and backup proxy. The backup proxy is new and is available in version 6. On the right side, there's where the backup data goes to. You can have 3 different copies of the backup data. First one is the original backup. The second one is that you can make backup copies to save a copy of the backup data in another location. The third one is that you can archive the backup data to cloud storages. This is also a new feature on version 6. Okay, this is a brief Vinchin Backup and Recovery solution architecture. The new features mentioned here will be introduced later. Here, let's take a look at Vinchin Backup and Recovery architecture components. In this example, there are 2 sites, the primary site and the remote site. On the primary site, Vinchin Backup Server, Backup Node, and Backup Proxy had been deployed. On the remote site, only Vinchin Backup Server had been deployed. The remote site Vinchin Backup Server is used for offset backup copy storage only. So let's focus on the primary site. To deploy Vinchin Backup and Recovery solution, usually a single backup server will be enough. But if you have a large-scale production environment, you can also scale out the backup infrastructure by deploying Vinchin Backup Node to decentralize the work node on Vinchin Backup Server. As for backup proxy, it is dedicated for VMware vSphere infrastructure. Introduce the backup proxy later. For both Vinchin Backup Node and proxy, they are optional components. If your backup infrastructure needs these two components, they are free of charge. You don't have to pay extra license fees for them. Okay, here's a list of Vinchin virtual infrastructures that can be supported by a Vinchin Backup and Recovery server, including VMware whisper, Microsoft Hyper-V, Citrix XenServer, XCPNG, Red Hat Virtualization, Overt, OpenStack, Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager, Huawei Fusion Compute, Sanford HCI. Among them, the latest version, VMware Whisper 7 and Overt 4.4, and XenServer version 8.2 are now supported. And the two new virtual infrastructure, XCPNG and Oracle OLVM, are now supported. So Vinchin Backup and Recovery version 6 can now support 10 different hypervisors and can widely protect the mainstream virtual infrastructure in the world. Okay, here are some main features of virtual machine backup and recovery. For virtual machine backup, we support agentless backup. No plugins are required to be installed on the virtual machine. And the features forever incremental backup, CBT and the speed kit, LAN-Free backup, data duplication and compression, and the bit detector can help users to reduce the usage of the IT resources. So backups can be done more frequently to achieve shorter RPO. For the backup data safety, users can save on-site and off-site backup copies and can also archive the backup data to the cloud storages. This can eliminate the possibilities of data loss. For virtual machine recovery, we have instant recovery and migration, full and group virtual machine recovery, LAN-Free recovery, cross-host or cross-cluster recovery, recovery from backup, recovery from backup copy, and recovery from backup archive. So you can have a lot of means to bring your virtual machine back online. And for some specific situations, for example, if there are just some files in the virtual machine that have corrupted or had been accidentally deleted, you can use our file level granular restore feature to recover the files only instead of recovering the whole virtual machine. Another example, if a virtual machine got affected by ransomware, you can choose to roll back the virtual machine state by simply using a previous restore point. Next, let's see some new features that have improved the virtual machine backup and restore efficiencies. First one, the XenServer CBT support is now available on Vinchin Backup and Recovery version 6. CBT is as low as changed block tracking. It tracks the changes of the virtual machine since the last backup. So this technology can be used for incremental backup of the virtual machines. By using CBT technology, it tracks the changes of a virtual machine from a CBT log file instead of by comparing the last backup with virtual machine's disk snapshots. This can rapidly locate the changes of the virtual machine since the last backup. So it can greatly reduce the amount of time for incremental backups. And also it can dramatically reduce the backup storage usage by storing only the new and changed data. Here's now which hypervisors on Vinchin Backup and Recovery server can support CBT, including VMware Whisper and newly CBT supported XenServer and the Xen-based XCPNG. The next feature, forever incremental backup. Let's see how it works. It will automatically perform a full backup at the very first time, and then the following backups will be incremental backups. This will create a backup chain. Each backup in this chain is indispensable. As losing any of the restore points, you cannot restore the virtual machine to the latest state. So by the way, when the restore point in the backup chain exceeded the retention policy, the full backup T1 showing in the diagram will be merged with the first incremental backup T2 as a new full backup at the beginning of the backup chain. And let's see how to restore from forever incremental backup. As shown in the second diagram, to restore the virtual machine to the native state, you have to choose the last restore point, Tn. The Vinchin backup server will merge all backup restore points from T1 to Tn to restore the virtual machine to the latest state. If you want to restore the virtual machine to a previous state, for example, to the state of the time when T5 incremental backup is performed, so you select the restore point T5 to restore. And Vinchin backup server will merge the restore points from T1 to T5 to restore the virtual machine. Here's a screenshot of how to implement forever incremental backup using Vinchin backup server. For the backup schedule, you choose incremental backup only to achieve forever incremental backup. And by the way, forever incremental backup is temporarily not supported with Microsoft Hyper-V. All other hypervisors supported by Vinchin Backup and Recovery can do forever incremental backup. Next, let's see what are the benefits of forever incremental backup compared to incremental backup. Here's a diagram shows an incremental backup example. 4 backups will be taken each week on Saturday. And from Sunday to Friday, incremental backups will be taken. The next diagram shows a forever incremental backup example. Full backup is taken only for once at the very first time. No more full backup is required. Based on these 2 diagrams, if we extend the timeline to 4 weeks and a few days more, but less than 5 weeks, there will be 4 full backups generated by incremental backup. But we still got only 1 full backup by forever incremental backup. At this moment, if the retention policy is to reserve a restore point within 30 days, there's no problem for forever incremental backup, as the full backup at the beginning of the backup chain can be merged with the following incremental backup as a new full backup. But for the incremental backup, there's no way to do this. For example, in the first diagram, we need to delete restore points from first Saturday to Thursday to comply with the retention policy. But the restore point on Friday will be useless, and there's no mechanism for incremental backup to merge restore points. So an extra week of old backup data will be kept. If the full backup is to be taken each month, then an extra month of old backup data will be kept. So the benefits of forever incremental backup would be less backup storage and less bandwidth usage. And users can schedule backups more frequently to achieve shorter RPO. Next new feature, Vinchin Backup and Recovery Proxy. It is a new backup archive architecture component developed by Vinchin for VMware virtual infrastructure. It is applicable to those virtual infrastructures without SAN storage. It will need to be installed on the VMware ESXi server as a virtual machine. While backing up or restoring the virtual machines on VMware vSphere, the vStorage API will use the ESXi server's hot add technology to hot add the VMDK to the proxy, and the data will be transferred between Vinchin Backup server and the proxy for virtual machine backup and recovery. The benefits of using Vinchin Backup proxy, including direct virtual machine disk access for high-speed data exchange. And as a result, this can reduce the time windows of virtual machine backup and restore. Next new feature, LAN-Free backup and recovery. As shown in this diagram on the right side, the backup and restore data flow goes through a separated storage area network rather than using the production line. The storage area network could be fiber channels, the FC sign, and ISCAS, NFS, or CIFS, the IP sign. They will be used for backup and restore data transmission only, and the data will be transmitted directly between production storage and the backup storage. The precondition of using LAN-Free backup and restore requires Vinchin Backup and Recovery server to be installed on a physical server instead of as a virtual machine on the hypervisor. And the Vinchin Backup server needs to be able to connect to the fiber channel switch for FC sign connection, or a dedicated network switch for IP sign connection. Okay, let's see what are the benefits of LAN-Free backup and restore. By using LAN-Free backup and restore, it can eliminate the bandwidth bottlenecks of LAN-based server storages. So the transmission could be very efficient, and at the same time, it will not impact on your business critical operations in the production environments. And with the storage area network, rapid backup, restore, and migration can be achieved. And the backup and restore can be performed at any time when needed. By the way, LAN-Free backup and restore is temporarily not supported with Microsoft Hyper-V. Next, backup and restore speed improvements by using multithreading transmission. When performing a backup or restore job, Vinchin Backup and Recovery server will create multiple threads for data transmission of a single job. Even when processing a single virtual machine disk, multithreading transmission will still be applied. As the other virtual machine backup products in the market now, only one thread will be used to process one virtual disk at the same time. So Vinchin Backup and Recovery can greatly improve the overall processing speed than other products in the market now. Here's the customer feedback of screenshots from our customers with version 6. Sorry, it's in Chinese as this is a project in China. It's a government project. They are using OpenStack virtual infrastructure, and this screenshot is taken while they were performing backup jobs. As you can see, the total speed exceeded 1.5 gigabit per second. And the peak speed of a single job exceeded 1 gigabyte per second. So multithreading can dramatically improve the backup and restore speed. And one more thing, multithreading is also temporarily not supported with Microsoft Hyper-V. Okay, next new feature, speed controller. As we have just mentioned about multithreading backup and restore transmission. At this moment, you may worry about this could slow down your production environment, as the high-speed transmission requires plenty of bandwidth and I/O resources. And as a result, it might slow down your business critical operations. But by using speed controller, you can fully utilize your network bandwidth and I/O resources, yet not to impact on your production environment, as the strategies can be configured to schedule when to limit and when to not. For example, during the daytime, your production environment will support heavy business operations. But during the night, the business operation node will descend, so you can set low speed limitations at night. At this moment, backup and restore jobs can be performed smoothly without any limitations. Of course, you can also permanently limit the transmission speed if your production environment provides 7 times 24 hours of critical services. The above features, XenServer CBT supports forever incremental backup, VMware backup proxy, LAN-Free backup and restore, and so on. There are new features that we have added on Vinchin Backup and Recovery version 6 to help our customers to improve virtual machine backup and restore efficiencies. Next, we will take a look at some new data protection features. First one, the file level backup and restore feature. Now we support file level backup and restore of Windows and Linux servers. For Microsoft Windows, the Windows XP, Windows 7, 8, and 10 are supported. For Windows Server, from version 2003 to 2019 are all supported. As for Linux, the mainstream distributions including Red Hat Enterprise Linux, CentOS Linux, Ubuntu Linux, Debian Linux, and their latest versions are supported. Next, let's see how file backup and restore works. For both Windows and Linux operating systems, a lightweight file backup agent need to be installed, and the agent needs to be always running on the target operating system. Vinchin Backup and Recovery server will communicate with the operating system through the file backup agent to backup and restore files. Not only individual files, folders and the subfolders and files inside the folders are all supported for backup and restore. Next, the Granular restore feature. We have made updates to the feature on version 6. Now Granular restore can support restore of folders. Granular restore is not like the independent file backup and restore feature. It is a part of the virtual machine backup and restore. Vinchin Backup server uses the binary backups of the virtual machines, then open the binary backup data and resolve the file architecture and the file data, then to list the file architecture on the Vinchin Backup server web interface. As shown in the diagram, then from within the Vinchin Backup server web interface, you can download the desired folders or files to restore them to the virtual machine. This feature is useful when there are only files lost or corrupted on the virtual machine, and you can restore the desired files only instead of restore the whole virtual machine. Next feature, archive backups to cloud storages. Now we support archive backups to AWS S3 and Alibaba Cloud storages. Vinchin Backup and Recovery server will archive full restore points to the cloud storages, even if you select to archive a differential or incremental backup point, it will merge with the last full restore point to form a new full restore point, and then to archive to the cloud storage. Archive backups to cloud can help users to achieve remote disaster recovery without building a new data center in another location. As the pricing of cloud storage is quite cheap now, and nowadays the uplink and the downlink is pretty fast. It's a great choice for users to archive their backup data to cloud storages for disaster recovery. And by the way, users don't have to worry about the data safety, as Vinchin Backup Server will do encryption and compression of the data while archiving to cloud. Okay, the above features are some new data protection features that are available on version 6. Next, we will see some other new features. The data visualization feature. Data visualization displays a real-time overview of Vinchin backup and recovery infrastructure in a single graphic screen. It briefly presents the information of virtual infrastructure, protected virtual machines, backup storage, history jobs, current running jobs, and more other useful information in a single intuitive graphic screen. With data visualization, administrators can demonstrate the supervisors or the decision makers about the real-time status of the virtual infrastructure and the backup infrastructure in a conference room or in a command center. Reports and presentations can be made easily based on a single screen, as you get all necessary information you might need to deliver to the supervisors or the decision makers. With data visualization, the backup server and the administrators' work will be recognized and will be approved. Next, the strategy templates. Strategy templates can be pre-configured on Vinchin Backup and Recovery server. So when the administrator tries to create a new backup or restore job, the templates can be used to quickly create the job. For backup strategy templates, the time schedules, speed controller, storage options, retention policies, and some other advanced options can be pre-configured as templates. As for the restore strategies, the virtual machine restore related settings can be pre-configured as templates too. So when administrator try to create new backup or restore jobs, these templates can be used, and these options don't have to be configured and reviewed again and again each time when they create new jobs. And specific options from the selected templates can be modified if needed. By using the strategy templates, it can reduce the effort of system administration. Okay, next, backup, copy, and archive storages. Vinchin Backup and Recovery version 6 now have added local directory to the backup storage. This will allow users to save a copy of backup data in the Vinchin Backup server or backup node, and other copies of data to other storages or other locations. So now users can have local partition, local disk, local directory, logic volume, FC sign, IP sign, offsite storage, and the cloud storages to save the backup data. Among those storages, the offsite storage is another Vinchin Backup server which had been installed on a remote site, it will be used for offset backup copy only. And the cloud storage will only be used to save the backup archives. Okay, here comes the demonstration time. I will show you some new features on version 6 from Vinchin Backup Server web interface and perform some feature tests to see how these new features work. And let's begin. Okay, first, let's log into the Vinchin Backup and Recovery Server web interface. Here on the left side from the menu tree, we can see we have added file backup feature, backup archive feature. And from within the resources, we have added the backup proxy and the strategy templates. On the top right corner, we have added data visualization. And for the title of the data visualization, you can customize it from here. You can customize the title of the data visualization screen. And the next, I'm going to show you some details of the Granular restore feature, file backup feature, and the backup archive feature. First, let's take a look at the Granular restore feature. The Granular restore feature is a branch of the virtual machine restore feature, but it is used to restore specific files or folders, not used to restore a complete virtual machine. Let's create a Granular restore job. Okay, let's start the job. Now Vinchin Backup Server is trying to open the binary backup data of the CentOS Linux. It will take 1 minute or more to resolve the file system architecture and to display on Vinchin Backup Server web interface. The time could be different due to the backup server performance and the size of the virtual machine backup data. Okay, it's done. We can browse the files from the file list. Previously on version 5, we can only support granular restore of files, but now we support granular restore of folders. So we can download any desired folder from here. For example, let's download the home folder. Okay, done. We can just upload this folder to the virtual machine to restore the files or the folders only. So this is how the Granular restore feature works. In this example, we have used a Linux system. It works the same way for the Windows system. And before we continue to the next feature, we need to stop this Granular restore feature, as the job will keep running in the background, and this will take some of the system resources. Next, I will show you how file backup works. The file backup and restore is mainly used to protect the physical servers. Before we perform backup and restore, we need to download and install the file backup agent. Okay, let's log out and download the file backup agent. So I'm going to download the Windows version. To download the Linux version is the same way. You can download from here. Okay, download. It's done. Let's install it. And quick install. The installation will only take a few seconds. Okay, done. And we need to configure the file backup agent. Right click on the icon and click on agent configure. And here we need to input the server IP address. And now test the connection. Success. And save the configurations. Okay, it's done. Let's relogin. And here we need to register this PC. Give it a name for identification. Okay, it's online registered. Now we can perform a file backup. Let's add this folder to the backup list. Next, once off backup. Select a time and the next. Next. And submit. Now the job is pending and let's start the job menu. And now the job is running. And completed. Here, let's take a look at the backup data. Okay, we got the file backed up. Now let's delete this folder. Let's see what's inside this folder. We have 5 image files inside this folder. And let's delete this folder. And empty the recycle bin. It's gone. Okay, let's restore the files. Add this folder to the restore list. Next. Here you can choose to restore the files to the original host or a new host. And also you can choose to restore to the original path or a new path. Here I'm going to restore the files to the original host and the original path. And next. And restore now. Next. And submit. Okay, the job is running now. Completed. And here, let's take a look. The whole folder is back. And we got all the images back. Okay, that's for the file backup. Next, let's take a look at the backup archive. Before we archive the backups, we need to add the cloud storage. Here we choose cloud storage and choose AWS S3. And here you need to fill in your account information, the bucket name, and you can also create a new folder in the buckets and give it a name. And the storage objective, it was set to archive by default, and you cannot choose any other objectives. And the cloud storage usage threshold can be configured by the total data size that you have uploaded to the cloud storage. For example, we set the threshold to 1 TB. And okay, let's go back. As you can see from the storage list, my AWS S3 storage capacity is 1 TB. And I have used like 1.3 GB. And when I have used all my 1 TB, there will be a warning on the top right corner. You will get a warning that's about the storage, the cloud storage usage. Okay, since we have added the cloud storage, let's go to the backup archive. Here, let's select a restore point. For example, this CentOS, and this select a time to upload. And here, we should select cloud storage and use the AWS S3 cloud storage. And for the transmission strategy, you can, by default, the encryption and the compression is enabled. So this will guarantee the safety of your backup data. And next. As the process will take several minutes, so I will not show you the archive process. Now let's take a look at the archive restore. Here's the data that I have archived to the AWS 3 cloud storage. And to restore, I can choose to restore it to local backup archive storage. And the next, here, by default, encryption and compression is enabled. And now you can restore the backup archive to your local archive storage. And this will also take several minutes. To save some time, I will not show you the process. And here we can see that this is a backup archive that I have restored from the AWS 3 to my on-site archive storage. And by using this on-site archive restore, I can restore my virtual machine. Sorry, from here, and use the archive that I have restored from the AWS S3. And next, this is same as you use your backup data, backup copy, and to restore your virtual machine. Okay, so that's all for what I want to share with you today. Next is our Q&A section. Please feel free to let us know what questions you have about today's webinar and this new version.
Thanks, Luwen. Yeah, here have some customers are asking questions. Let's take a look at. Firstly, copy or archive backup support ITO tapes. Yeah, no, the answer is no. We cannot support copy or archive backups to any tape. So far, we can support copy backups to offsite location with an offsite storage, offsite local storage. And archive backup, we can support only to the cloud, AWS and Alibaba Cloud. And archive also can be stored in the local storage, but no tape. Okay, so next question.
Okay, I got the next question. For version 6, as this is a major upgrade of Vinchin Backup and Recovery system, as we have upgraded the CentOS Linux system and made many other major changes to this version. So it's not possible to upgrade directly from version 5 to version 6. If you want to use the new version, you will have to install the version 6.
Okay, let me get the next one from Cosmos. Is there a plan to have the backed up data encrypted as a target location? So the target location is the source location or the destination location? Cosmos, if you can hear me, can you answer my question? The encryption you are destination. Actually, right now, we have not yet support to encrypt the backup data at the destination, but it will be added in our maybe next year plan to support this feature. Let me try again. Ronald, is there no in-place upgrade how to transport all job destination to the new installation? We will send you, we will release upgrading file in our documentation. You can follow that file to upgrade from version 5 to version 6. And for the job definitions, which yes, you're right, we cannot upgrade directly the job settings, but maybe in near future we will support to directly upgrade from version the current version to the next version without any reinstallation. This is a big change in version 6, so we have to reinstall the product. Okay, let me try the next one. Thomas, when will it be available? It is already available now. Today we just released version 6 and you can download it from Vinchin website. And do existing customers get a download link or do they need to register again? They only need to download the new version. And if they have bought Vinchin license, they can contact Vinchin sales manager to upgrade if their support period is not expired yet. They can contact us to upgrade freely. And Kevin, upgrades include in the license. Upgrades included in the license. What's that mean? If you have bought the license, the upgrading will be included in the support. In the first year of buying Vinchin license, you will get 1 year free support on maintenance and upgrading version. The next, when do you plan to support tape? We currently not yet have any plan to support tapes because for us customers who use tapes, how to say, it's not growing. The number of people who use tapes is not growing, but maybe in the near future the tape will be also replaced by other method which can get a long-term archive or retention. So at least this year and next year, we have no plan for support tapes.
Okay. About the feature replication. Actually, this feature is under development now, and maybe it will be ready in our future release, future version. And now we are actually developing this this feature now.
Okay, I think the time is too fast. We shall be ended here. And I see that the customers who are asking questions are getting in touch with our sales manager and our support managers. So you can later, if you have further questions, you can send email to your Vinchin sales manager or the support manager. You have their contact information. And the time is always going so fast, so we will be done here.